Okay, hello everyone, welcome to Tathastu ICS. My name is Sharma and today I am going to take your DNA session. This is the front page of our The Hindu newspaper and let's see which important news we are going to cover. Before that, this is the QR code from where you can access PDF files, right? And PDF file is also there, link of the PDF file is also there in your comment section, okay, in the first highlighted comment. So, let us see which important news we are going to cover. In today's newspaper we had very important news. So, let us see all these review of these one by one. The first is related to the deal which is going to happen between the USA and India. We all know about what is happening, okay, at the international level, how the America is changing the trade policy all over the world in the absence of any very strong all round organization such as WTO. So, there is an interim US India, okay, interim deal is going to happen on. Interim means you can say that it is a temporary one. So, one trade deal is going to happen, and before that trade deal there are so many speculations that what is going to happen in that trade deal. And recently the leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi has given a speech, or just he was saying in the parliament that there are so many issues which are related to this deal. So, now the Piyush Goyal, okay, the commerce minister, he actually has clarified on whatever were the accusations by the Rahul Gandhi or the Congress party in general. So, he is saying that the zero tariff textile export to US is possible for India. This is something which is which looks very difficult right now, that zero tariff export to USA right now is imposing more and more import duty on us. So, they are going to impose more. So, let us see what is going to happen. So, we are going to understand what all the Piyush Goyal has to say, what is this deal and how this deal is getting compared with the deal which has happened with the Bangladesh. The second news which we are going to discuss is about the CPI. So, the base year of the consumer price index has been changed. Earlier it was 2012 and now it has changed to 2024. Not only that, not only the base year we have changed the number of items also. So, the number of items in the basket of the CPI has also changed, number of goods, number of services also, and there are new additional items also in the basket. So, now we have made the consumer price index more accurate, more authentic as per the current situation. And this is the first time we have actually the inflation, retail inflation based on the new consumer price index, and this inflation right now is at 2.75%, which is very comfortable inflation, okay. It is not that high, it is not actually that low also, it is very comfortable, right. So, we are going to discuss what are the new features of this new consumer price index. One, I have told you, the base year has changed because को जितना पुराना बेस ईयर होता है ना, उतना ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम हो जाता है टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट और टू हैव अ बेटर आइडिया ऑफ द इन्फ्लेशन इन जनरल एंड व्हाई दिस CPI, these इंडेक्स आर इम्पोर्टेंट फॉर अस. तो ये ऑथेंटिक या ऑथेंटिक मीन्स वो एक्यूरेट क्यों होने चाहिए, व्हाई आर इंडेक्सेस शुड बी एक्यूरेट, चाहे वो GDP है, चाहे वो CPI है. इफ वी हैव द एक्यूरेट डेटा, ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दैट वी कैन हैव आवर पॉलिसी मेकिंग. If we don't have an accurate data, how we are going to have the policy making? For example, we had our latest census in 2011. How can we use the 2011 census and how can we use that census for the policy making? That is so outdated. Same with the CPI. The base year was so outdated, okay. A lot has changed in these last 12 and 13 years. So many things have changed. The priority of the people have changed. And what is CPI? CPI होगा क्या है? Consumer Price Index. So it is based on few basket of goods. ठीक है? एक basket of goods होती है जिसमें different almost 350 items होते हैं, including goods as well as services. उसमें goods भी होते हैं और services भी होते हैं. Okay. Now as compared to the price in 2012, how much it has changed? For example, there is one particular service, let's say health. एक हेल्थ सर्विस है. अब हेल्थ 2022 में कितनी कॉस्टली थी और उसके कंपैरिजन में 2020 लेट्स से 25 में या 26 में वो कितना चेंज हो गया है. सो द चेंज इन द प्राइस ऑफ दैट हेल्थ, ओके, या हेल्थ बेनिफिट, हाउ मच इट हैज चेंज. और इफ देयर इज एन गुड, अगर कोई गुड है जैसे फूड है, ठीक है, लेट्स से वीट, सीरियल्स हो गए, ठीक है, अनाज हो गए हमारे सारे, तो वीट का प्राइस पिछले 2012 के कंपैरिजन में कितना इंक्रीज हो गया. इफ दैट इंक्रीमेंट इज वेरी हाई इट मीन्स इन्फ्लेशन इज वेरी हाई. नाउ वी हैव चेंज द बेस ईयर ओनली. अब हमने बेस ईयर ही बदल दिया है बिकॉज द थिंग्स हैव चेंज. अच्छा ये तो बदला ही है कि कितना ज़्यादा टाइम हो गया. द सेकेंड थिंग इज वी हैव अपडेटेड द आइटम्स ऑल्सो. हमने आइटम्स को भी अपडेट कर दिया है बिकॉज वी हैव एडेड दीज न्यू आइटम्स which actually became popular much later. For example, we are अब हम Blinkit यूज़ करते हैं हमारी छोटी छोटी हाउस होल्ड आइटम्स बनाने मंगवाने के लिए. So digital economy is so much into it. We need to have our items which are reflecting the present age also, right? Now, third news which we are going to discuss is related to this new buildings which is being inaugurated by our Prime Minister. So new Prime Minister office and Central Secretariat building is going inaugurated. Now we are going to know what is happening. Before that, instead of these buildings we have North Block and South Block. North Block, South Block we have from the time of the colonial period. Okay, Britishers are the one who actually gave us. They are the one who actually they designed those areas, and they used to have their administration from North Block and South Block, and we continued our administration from North Block and South Block only. But now we have the new infrastructure, right? So we are going to understand that also. Then in the fourth, very important article on your editorial page, which is actually very sensible article, that Vande Mataram with its 6 stanzas and a settled question. Now the Ministry of Home Affairs actually given an order. एक order आया है. Order कोई parliament ने sign नहीं किया है. It means it has order that all the 6 stanzas of the Vande Mataram are going to be sung before the assemblies, for any important assemblies, or the whatever is going on. For example, even if there is a school assembly, or if there is a presidential level assembly, in all kind of assemblies, there is mandatory. It is mandatory that we are going to sing Vande Mataram. You have to stand while Vande Mataram is going to be played or being sang at that point of time. And all 6 stanzas are being used. You already know the the controversy behind Vande Mataram. So we are going to understand that controversy also. What was the decision that was taken by the Congress Working Committee in 1937. We also know that what was the decision which was taken by the Constituent Assembly, okay, in 1946. And we are also going to understand what is the recent controversy and what implications, okay, this can have. Along with that, what is the constitutional mandate. कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इस बारे में क्या बोलता है, क्या वो वंदे मातरम को की ऑथेंटिसिटी के बारे में कुछ बोल रहा है या नहीं बोल रहा है, हाउ इट कैन एक्चुअली वोलेट आवर फंडामेंटल राइट्स, क्या वो हमारे राइट टू इक्वालिटी के या राइट टू फ्रीडम ऑफ रिलीजन के फंडामेंटल राइट को किसी तरह से इम्पैक्ट कर रहा है या नहीं कर रहा है. सो दिस आर्टिकल इज गोइंग टू कवर ऑल दीज एस्पेक्ट. सो लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड ईच एंड एवरी आर्टिकल वन बाय वन. फर्स्ट आर्टिकल इज द zero tariff textile export is to US is possible for India. It is being said by the Piyush Goyal. अच्छा, ऐसा पीयूष गोयल जी ने बोला है, ठीक है. उसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि अभी ऐसा हो गया है. That's why they actually have said that this statement is not by the newspaper. This statement by our commerce minister. So what is happening? Actually, I hope it is visible to everyone. So what is happening? That India will receive the same benefit on textile export under its interim trade agreement with the US as Bangladesh gained through its own deal. So what is happening? First of all, we need to understand an interim trade deal is going to happen between India and USA, जिसके बारे में हम सब, ठीक है, we all were waiting for it. What is this interim trade agreement? Interim trade agreement is something temporary trade agreement. Yeah, temporary trade agreement है. अब now there is a concern related to textile export. Okay, we are specifically going to talk about only textile export. Textile, you all know that about the cloth, okay, the finished cloth. Earlier, when we used to export the textile to the USA initially, okay, just before this problem which has arisen between India and the USA, before that the tariff was 0. For example, if there is a cloth which was made in India, it was going to USA, there was a 0 import duty. ठीक है, इंडिया से कोई भी मैन्युफैक्चर क्लोथ जब यूएसए में जाता था तो उसके ऊपर इम्पोर्ट ड्यूटी 0 लगती थी. तो हमारे लिए बहुत ईजी था. इट वॉज वेरी ईजी फॉर यू आर प्रोडक्ट्स टू एंटर अमेरिका. ओके, if it is so easy and it is so cheap for us to enter into the America for our product, then it is very easy for our product to be in the competition with the indigenous clothes there, okay. So it was a good thing for us, but now because of the issue that has happened, and the Donald Trump has put so many tariff over us, he has put 25% tariff, then we actually are having deal with the USA that you need to come down the tariff, कि आपको tariff कम करना पड़ेगा. तो वो कितना कम होगा we don't know, but the speculation is that USA is going to impose at least 18 to 90% tariff still. They are going to keep it down from 25%, but they are not going to make it 0. They are going to make it at least 18 to 90%. So these are the, this is what everyone is thinking about. Now this particular article is about the textile export. Why textile पे ही सारा focus क्यों है? Because recently Rahul Gandhi actually has spoken in the parliament, and he has mentioned that Bangladesh has gotten a better deal with the USA than us. That right now the Bangladesh USA trade deal has already happened, and according to that the USA and the Bangladesh, when they are going to have import and export, and the Bangladeshi cloth when it is going to the America, there will be an import duty of 18%. So this is actually has happened, but now they are thinking that the Bangladesh has gotten a better deal because there is some kind of zero tariff. Now we are going to understand in which context that zero tariff which is by the Rahul Gandhi. First you understand that in India, between India and USA, an interim trade agreement. Now he is saying that if raw material, now let's talk about the Bangladesh. So what are the benefits which was gotten by the Bangladesh? Look, if the raw material which is being used to make a particular textile in Bangladesh has come from the USA. For example, the cotton is from USA. The cotton from the USA has been imported to Bangladesh, and the Bangladesh is using that particular cotton and making it a textile product. And then when that particular textile product made of US cotton is going to go back to the USA, at that point of time there will be zero tariff on that particular product. Okay. So this is what the Bangladesh got. Now our Commerce Ministry is saying that we can do the same thing. We can also have zero import duty on our cotton products or the textile products. If we are going to import cotton from the USA, then we are going to make textile, and then we are going to sell it back to the USA, and we need not to give any tariff because there will be zero tariff. Okay. So means if the raw material is purchased from the America, then you process it and make cloth and export it, then it will be available at zero reciprocal tariff. First you understand that zero tariff. Now let's understand the meaning of the word reciprocal. ये reciprocal tax क्या होता है और reciprocal tariff क्या होता है? For example, there are two countries. One is A country, another one is B country. Okay? If A puts on B's product, it is the tariff which A puts on B's product. In response to that, B is doing the same for A's product. For example, if India is putting tariff on a particular product which is coming from the America, then America is also going to put the similar tariff on the products which is coming from the USA, right? So this is the meaning of reciprocal tariff. अगर इंडिया को कोई प्रोडक्ट यूएसए का कोई प्रोडक्ट जब इंडिया में आता है, यूएसए का कोई फाइनल मेड टेक्सटाइल प्रोडक्ट जब इंडिया में आता है, तो लेट्स से वी इम्पोज 20% ड्यूटी, लेट्स से ओके कि हम 20% उस पर इम्पोर्ट ड्यूटी लगाते हैं. अब यूएसए ने बोला है कि क्योंकि तुम 20% ड्यूटी लगाते हो, तो वी आर ऑल्सो गोइंग टू पुट रेसिप्रोकल टैरिफ ऑन योर कॉटन प्रोडक्ट ऑल्सो. तो आपका जब टेक्सटाइल प्रोडक्ट व्हेन इट इज गोइंग टू कम टू द यूएसए, वी आर गोइंग टू पुट द रेसिप्रोकल टैरिफ. A puts on B's product, in responsible to that B is doing the same for A's. Here B, let's say, is India, A is America. So America is putting reciprocal tariff on Indian textile products in response to what India is doing the same to the American product. I hope you can understand what is the meaning of reciprocal tariff. But we all know that this is just going to be an interim deal. The final deal is going to be finalized in March. What are the trade provisions? What are the benefits that Bangladesh has got? The Bangladesh-US deal reciprocal tariff on Bangladesh export to the US will be reduced to 19%. Okay, ऐसा नहीं है कि उनका भी tariff zero हो गया है. It is 19%. It is still 19%. But if the Bangladesh is going to purchase the cotton from the USA, then they are going to make the product. that product is going to have zero tariff. उस product पे क्या होगा, zero tariff लगेगा. If the Bangladesh import cotton from the US, the tariff on its textile export will fall to 0%. So this is what everything is. Because of this particular provision, everyone is getting confused. Now our commerce ministry is saying that we can also have this particular provision in our trade deal. कि हम भी हमारी trade deal में ऐसा provision करते हैं. But let's understand that if we are going to import cotton from the USA, then what is going to happen to our cotton farmers? Okay? तो हमारे जो cotton, जो indigenous cotton है उसका क्या होगा? So there will be a cotton from the USA which is going to have competition with the cotton of India, and if the Indian made cotton products are going to be so costly in America as compared to the USA made cotton, USA cotton made textiles in India are going to be much cheaper in USA, then there are going to be very negative competition of these two textile products within India also. Now, why all this issue has emerged? Because I have already told you, Rahul Gandhi is expected to see that USA is at least going to put 18% tariff on our exports. Okay, so we have this notion in our mind. Now, the news is also talking about how the farmers can benefit. Commerce Minister is again saying that because there are accusations that if we are going to have this trade deal with the USA, our farmers are going to lose. कि हमारे फार्मर्स को कहीं ना कहीं कोई नुकसान होगा if we are going to have this deal with the USA. क्योंकि अगर USA की जो wheat है अगर हमारे इंडिया में अगर बहुत कम टैरिफ पे आ जाएगी तो how it is going to have competition with our grains. Now Commerce Ministry is saying that it is okay. With USA the things are difficult, that is okay, but our farmers now can export their wheat or their cereals or their food products to other areas also, because we already have these free trade agreements with the United Union also, United Kingdom, Switzerland, Norway, Austria. Okay? So we are going to benefit, we are going to focus our export to these particular area. तो हमारे जो फार्म प्रोडक्ट्स हैं वो अब हम इन कंट्रीज में एक्सपोर्ट करेंगे इंस्टेड ऑफ अमेरिका. फर्स्ट वी यूज्ड टू सेल मोस्ट ऑफ आवर प्रोडक्ट्स टू यूएसए. नाउ वी कैन उसको हम बस हमें चेंज करना है. जस्ट वी नीड टू चेंज आवर फोकस. अदर देन दैट यूएस गवर्नमेंट एक्चुअली अमेंडेड इट्स फैक्ट शीट. पहले यूएस ने एक फैक्ट शीट बना के दिया था. यूएस हैज गिवन ए फैक्ट शीट which was actually talking about few things. For example, in that fact sheet it was mentioned that India has committed to buy $500 billion worth of American goods. Okay, it was mentioned that India has committed to buy, but now they have changed it. Now they have changed the word committed. They have changed the word committed to intended. Now in that fact sheet, in the new amended fact sheet, it is written that India intends to buy $500 billion worth American goods. Okay, so they have changed the terminology only. Earlier, India ने commit कर दिया है. They have said India has committed only. That's why there was such a big fuss in our country. But now they have changed that India just intends now, and nothing is finalized. Other than that, they have removed these products also, pulses, agriculture products, and digital service tax also. It means that negotiations are still being done when it comes to these particular items. Look, we are going to have the better idea of this trade deal after the trade deal is going to be done. But obviously, we need to discuss about the deal so the government has some kind of pressure on it so that they should not be having an unfair deal with the USA, right? Other than that, Kisan Morcha, Sanyukt Kisan Morcha is a farmer organization. They are saying that we are going to have these analysis of or the impact of this deal on India also. Let's see what is going to happen. We don't know what is finally going to happen between India and USA trade deal, but these are the issues which we cover. Now let's come to the second news, that retail inflation at 2.75% in the new consumer price index in 2027-24 as the base year. Now CPI has changed. Okay? CPI change हो गया है. Now government has changed the way inflation is going to be measured in our country. New CPI जो release हुई है उसमें base year is 2024. Earlier the base year was 2012 only. Okay. Also the number of items have also changed. So there are two basic change. There are three basic change also. The first change is the base year has been changed. The second change, the number of items are changed. So total number of items earlier were 299. Okay. Now the number of items are 358. पहले 299 आइटम्स थे CPI में, अब 358. CPI, hope you understand that it is consumer price index. What is the meaning of consumer? Means we all consume. Okay, there are some things which are coming to our household on daily basis. For example, dairy products, milk, okay, sugar, flour, atta, chawal, normal food stuff. Other than that, other stuff also. Clothes, footwears, entertainment, TV, fridge, everything, furniture. Okay? So household items जो होंगे, these are just the goods. There are some services also. For example, health, education, okay? Digital services, services which is being provided by the Blinkit guy to us, the Zomato guy is providing us the. So everything is included. Now, a particular household, an average household in India is consuming so many goods and the services on a daily basis. Now, we have identified that the number of those goods and services are total 358. Earlier, it was the 299. Now, there are 358 items are there. Now, we track the changing prices of those items. ठीक है, अब हम items के changing price हम ट्रैक करते हैं, ठीक है, टाइम के साथ. हर महीने हम उनको ट्रैक करते हैं, फिर ईयरली बेसिस पे भी हम उसको ट्रैक करते हैं. तो हम ट्रैक कैसे करते हैं? फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अ पर्टिकुलर प्रोडक्ट शुगर, ओके, शुगर इज बीइंग यूज्ड इन एवरी हाउस होल्ड. So what was the price of sugar last month, and in this month how much it has changed? Same, there are 358 items and we are going to track the change in the prices of each and every item. Okay, on the basis of that change we are going to have a particular index which is known as consumer price index. Consumer क्यों? क्योंकि वो सारा कंजम्पशन किसने किया है? कंज्यूमर ने किया है, और उसका जो प्राइस है, दैट प्राइस इज एक्चुअली चेंजिंग, हैंस इट इज अ प्राइस इंडेक्स. ठीक है, इसलिए उसको बोलते हैं कंज्यूमर प्राइस इंडेक्स. इट इज एक्चुअली एन इंडेक्स विच इज गोइंग टू टेल अस how much is the inflation in our country, because consumer price index is basically, you know, focusing on the changes in the prices also, right? तो प्राइस कितने बढ़ गए, मोस्टली प्राइस जो है बढ़ते ही हैं. तो वी कैन ऑल्सो ईजिली आइडेंटिफाई हाउ मच इज द इन्फ्लेशन इन द इकोनॉमी. हम बहुत आसानी से देख सकते हैं इकोनॉमी में इन्फ्लेशन कितना है. नाउ देयर आर सम गुड्स आउट ऑफ 358 वी हैव 308 गुड्स एंड 50 सर्विसेज. अर्लियर द गुड्स वर 259, नाउ दे हैव चेंज्ड टू 308. अर्लियर द सर्विसेज वर 40, नाउ इट इज 50. So if you are going to add 308 to 50, you are going to get the number 350, right? I hope you understood that. That number of items have also changed. There is a third change also, that now there are new weights. Weight means each and every item in CPI has certain weightage, that how much weightage that particular item is going to get. ऐसा नहीं है कि food item का जो weightage है वो same weightage हम किसको दे देंगे? पान और टोबैको को. एक सिगरेट का वेटेज जो है और एक लेट्स से शुगर का वेटेज है, उसमें तो डिफरेंस होगा ना ऑब्वियसली, क्योंकि उसका कंजम्पशन ज़्यादा है. ठीक है, इंटॉक्सिकेटिंग प्रोडक्ट्स का कंजम्पशन कम है. क्लोथिंग का जो शेयर होगा, जो वेटेज होगा, ऑब्वियसली फूड के वेटेज से कम होगा. रिक्रिएशन का वेटेज ऑब्वियसली एजुकेशन के वेटेज से क्या होगा? कम होगा. नाउ वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट दीज. अच्छा, बहुत सारी जो जितने भी ये 358 आइटम्स है, दीज 358 आइटम्स आर डिवाइडेड इनटू फ्यू कैटेगरीज. फॉर एग्जांपल, फूड एंड बेवरेजेस आर a certain category in which we have multiple items, okay, but their weightage is highest among all the categories. Now the point is that food and beverages का जो overall weightage है, it has declined. वो डिक्लाइन हो गया. That doesn't mean that food and beverages are no more important in our household. It means that the weightage has come down. There are other things also which we use in a household on daily basis have become important. The weightage of the other item have increased. That's why the same weightage of a food and beverage items have reduced. Second, the housing. The weightage of housing has expanded because the rents are so high. The real estate property prices are so high. So housing का जो percentage है, sorry weightage है, that has increased. और housing में we now going to include the water, electricity and gas and everything. Not only just the household, it is the additional water. Waters are also part of the house. Electricity and gas is also included. Additional groupings are also have been. ठीक है, for example, furnishing was not there earlier. So there is a change in na. Earlier there were 299, now there are 358 items. Obviously they are the increment of the 59 items. So what are those 59 items? Those 59 items are those items which were not very important in 2012, but they are very important right now. For example, furnishing, let's say routine household maintenance, we never included earlier, health, education, recreation, sports and culture, personal care, okay, and the social protection also. उसके अलावा the pan, tobacco, other intoxicant, their weightage has increased and the weightage of the clothing and footwear has decreased with time, right? So we need to understand. So please, if you are preparing for prelims now, you need to understand that in this new, even if you are preparing for 2027, you should be knowing that the weightage of which items, which grouping of the items have increased and weightage of the which grouping of items have decreased. Now last, why this new CPI is better? Obviously new CPI is better because it is not based on, its base year is no more outdated, now the base year is 2024. It reflects current lifestyle. If you are going to look at the changes in the weightage and the additional items, we can say that it is according to the current lifestyle. It includes the services and the digital economy also, and if we have the better CPI, then we have better decision making. If our CPI is very authentic, अगर हमारा CPI बहुत ऑथेंटिक है तो हमारा पॉलिसी मेकिंग बेटर होगा, हमारी जो इंटरेस्ट रेट है जो RBI डिसाइड करती है वो हमारे लिए बेटर हो जाएगा, ठीक है. तो इट इज गोइंग टू गिव अ बेटर आउटलुक टू द पॉलिसी मेकर्स सो दैट दे कैन हैव अ बेटर पॉलिसी फॉर आवर, राइट. आई होप यू अंडरस्टूड. दीज आर द इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग्स व्हिच यू नीड टू नो. Now let's come to, now there is going to be three particular buildings which are going to be inaugurated by our Prime Minister. The first is the Prime Minister Office. Prime Minister Office is also going to be known as Seva Tirth now, ठीक है, उसका नाम होगा सेवा तीर्थ होगा. In that Seva Tirth we have PMO also. PMO, that is Prime Minister Office. Earlier PMO was in the North Block. Earlier there was North Block, South Block. Now there is no North Block and South Block because those buildings are so outdated. They are not according to the new, infrastructure of the building plans also. So we have changed them. Now we have a new complex that is known as Seva Tirth. In that Seva Tirth you have PMO, you have the Central Secretariat also, and along with that we have the National Security Council also. So National Security Council, Central Secretariat along with the PMO, they are in the vicinity to each other, and that whole complex will be तो उस पूरे कॉम्प्लेक्स को बोलेंगे सेवा तीर्थ. एंड अलोंग विद दैट वी हैव अ कर्तव्य भवन 1 एंड कर्तव्य भवन 2. कर्तव्य भवन 1 and 2 are like two buildings which are going to be interconnected to each other, and the कर्तव्य भवन 1 we have a few of our ministries are going to sit there, few of our ministries are going to sit in the कर्तव्य भवन. So basically where the administration used to sit earlier in Delhi, those buildings have been changed, including the building of the Prime Minister Office. Earlier we had North Block and South Block. In North Block we had PMO, Ministry of External Affairs, as well as Ministry of Defence. Then we had South Block where we had Ministry of Home Affairs and Ministry of Finance. Look, if the Ministry of Finance has to discuss something with the Ministry of External Affairs or the PMO, they have to move from North Block to South Block. Same, if Ministry of Home Affairs has to discuss something with the Ministry of Defence, then they have to move from North Block to South Block. So it was little bit inconvenient. So now everything is there in the one particular complex. So let's read the news. The Prime Minister is going to formally inaugurate the new Prime Minister Office, the Central Secretariat and the Kartavya Bhavan 1 and the 2 hai. Now the era will end when the iconic North and South Block are vacated. These actually North Block and South Block were there since the time of is from the pre-independence time, right? So they actually being handed over to us by the Britishers only in 1947, and they were designed by the Herbert Baker, right? Now this complex where we are going to have PMO and the Central Secretariat along with the National Security Council, that whole area is as the Seva Tirth. कर्तव्य भवन 1 और 2 में कौन सी बिल्डिंग होगी? Ministry of Finance, Defence, Health, all the ministries, Family Health, Corporate Affairs, Culture, Law, Agriculture, Farmer Welfare, Tribal Affairs. So all these ministries are going to sit either in the first building or the second building, Kartavya Bhavan 1 or Kartavya Bhavan 2. But those Kartavya Bhavan 1 and 2 are also centralized or attached to each other. So the both building complex feature digitally integrated office है, digitally integrated है according to a 4-star गृह स्टैंडर्ड से बनी है. गृह स्टैंडर्ड क्या होते हैं? कोई भी एक बिल्डिंग है उसकी एक स्टैंडर्ड होने चाहिए. गवर्नमेंट के लिए गृह स्टैंडर्ड है अकॉर्डिंग, सो वी नीड टू हैव ईच एंड एवरी बिल्डिंग अकॉर्डिंग टू दो स्टैंडर्ड्स. अच्छा, ये स्टैंडर्ड्स ये डिसाइड करते हैं कि उसमें बेटर इवैक्यूएशन जो प्लान है वो बेटर है या नहीं है, अगर फायर लग जाए तो उसको हम बेटर तरीके से कंट्रोल कर पाएंगे नहीं कर पाएंगे, इन केस ऑफ अर्थक्वेक कैन बी सस्टेन द बिल्डिंग और नॉट. सो दोज standards are there in the 𝐔𝐻. Now these buildings are according to 𝐔𝐻 standards and they actually are going to run on renewable energy system, water conservation methods, waste management solution, and they are going to be like a high performance corporate or not administrative building, right? Point is that new building complexes address the issues such as consolidating administrative function within modern future ready facilities. Means earlier there was a very ministers or the officers used to move from north block to south block, south block to north block. Now they have everything in one particular complex. Let's come to our last news, which is very important. It is the Vande Mataram. Its 6 stanzas along with the settled queue. Now, this article is very important. First, let's look at the Vande Mataram. So this is the whole text of the Vande Mataram. It is written in Devanagari. I hope those students, Devanagari bit difficult for you, but let me make you understand. So if this is the whole Vande Mataram, so what has happened? Right now the Ministry of Home Affairs has given an order. Okay? In that order it is written that from now onwards, just like we sing or like we stand in the respect of the national anthem, we are going to stand or sing the respect of the national song also. What is our national song? Our national song is Vande Mataram. Now, earlier the Vande Mataram or the national song is recognized as a national song. Earlier also in 1950s when our constitution was commenced, at that point of time also Vande Mataram is the national song, and to respect the Vande Mataram is also one of our responsibility, though it is not our fundamental, but it is our responsibility. We need to respect our national song. But that national song only consisted of first 2 stanzas of this Vande Mataram. So let's see, this is your first stanza. ये हमारा first stanza है. So this was included in the national song. This was also included in the national song. But these 4 stanzas were not included in the national. Why was it? ऐसा क्यों हुआ? It was decided in 1907. ये सब decide होता है 1937 में. What is happening in 1937? In 1937 there is a meeting of the Congress Working Committee. It means there is a meeting of Congress Working Committee. At that point of time Jawaharlal Nehru was also present, Vallabhbhai Patel was also there, Rajendra Prasad was also there, Mahatma Gandhi was also there as a special invitee. So we have so many freedom fighters who are there in this Congress Working Committee. At that point of time they actually passed a resolution. इन्होंने 1937 में एक resolution pass कर. What is this resolution? According to this resolution, that the Vande Mataram we are ready to sing. Because Vande Mataram is very important. Vande Mataram is a song which actually reflects the spirit of the national movement in our country, starting from the Swadeshi movement. In Swadeshi movement, since 1905, this particular Vande Mataram was actually sung by the Bengali people. Why? There was bifurcation of the Bengal at that point of time. उसके बाद भी when we had the NCM, CDM, Vande Mataram actually played a very major role. What was the Vande Mataram? Why it was important? At that point of time, Vande means होता है we are respecting and we are going down on the Mataram. Mataram means someone who is our mother. Here the Mataram means your motherland. यहाँ पे माता कोई मतलब कोई goddess नहीं है और कोई माँ नहीं है. It is mother. Motherland means it is India. So we are actually praising our country, that is India. So Vande Mataram was actually sang by everyone irrespective of the religion when it comes to the spirit of the patriotism. So Vande Mataram as a word is actually very important for inciting the feeling of the patriotism during pre-independence era. As the Vande Mataram, when the Ananda Math, when Vande Mataram was there, Bankim Chandra Chatterjee is the one who have written this whole song. So at that point of time everyone was singing it. Initially obviously they were singing all the 6 stanzas, okay? But then in 1937 there was a resolution. What was there in the resolution? In that resolution the Muslim members actually raised some questions. They said that the first 2 stanzas of Vande Mataram are fine, okay, we are ready to sing it. But the next 4 stanzas are not that much fine with us. Why is that? It is that because in these fourth stanza, we are either worshipping the goddess Saraswati, or we are worshipping the goddess Lakshmi, or we are worshipping the goddess Durga. For example, this particular stanza is actually dedicated to goddess Saraswati. Saraswati, koti koti kant kalkal ninad karale. So this is dedicated to goddess Saraswati. This Tume Vidya Tume Dharmam, okay? This particular stanza is actually dedicated to goddess Lakshmi, and this particular stanza is particularly dedicated to goddess Durga. But these two stanzas are very much, secular in nature. They are talking about the, nature or the environment of our country. That Shubhra Jyotni, Pulkit Yamini, Fulukusumit Drumadal Shobhini. It means Sasya Shamlam, Sujlam Suflam, Malayaj Shitlam. Sujlam Suflam, Malayaj Shitlam means they are talking about the land of this country. That how beautiful our land is, how beautiful the flora and fauna of this country are. So these particular two stanzas are not mentioning any Hindu goddess, but all the other four stanzas are actually mentioning the Indian goddesses. Hence, in 1937, a resolution was passed in Congress Working Committee by the Hindu, or we can say that by the main members of the Congress only, that we are going to include only first two stanza of the Vande Mataram as a national song, and we can refrain from singing the other four stanzas. So this was the actually story why they have chosen only these first two stanza, because it is not very easy for the Muslims to sing or to praise the goddess Lakshmi. For example, Tvam hi Durga Dash Prahan Dharine. What does it mean? कि आप ही दुर्गा हो, you are the Durga who has 10 weapons in your hand, that आपके पास 10 weapons हैं, right? So this is something, we are exactly or specifically talking about a Hindu goddess. Here we are actually not talking about the about our motherland. In this stanzas also is not dedicated to motherland, same with this stanza. But these two stanza we can actually say that can be used as when we show our dedication to the motherland or we want to show our patriotism, right? तो ये इसलिए दोनों स्टैंजा है उनको 1937 की कांग्रेस वर्किंग कमेटी रेजोल्यूशन पास करती है, अनएनिमसली वो रेजोल्यूशन पास भी हो जाता है. इट मींस एवरीवन, इवन इफ they belong to any religion, they are going to say yes to the resolution, that it is okay if some of our Muslim members are not very comfortable with singing the other four stanzas of this particular song. Okay, so this was the scene. And in 1947, when India got independence, at that point of time, it was decided that national anthem is not going to be the Vande Mataram. National anthem is going to be Jan Gan Man. National anthem actually gotten much more constitutional right as compared to the national song. Okay, why it was so? Why they have chosen Jan Gan Man over Vande Mataram? Because as a secular country, as a diverse country, we needed to show some sort of secularity. हमें secularity show करनी है. Why? ऐसा नहीं है हमें secularity to ease the Muslim population, इसलिए show नहीं करनी है. This is what we are. This is how we are our country is. Our country is actually a mixture of all the many cultures and many religions also. So we need to keep that spirit in our national anthems and national flags also. Hence, national anthem is something which is which is actually talking about the Indian state, Jan Gan Man. If you are going to read the text of the Jan Gan Man, it is actually talking about Punjab, Sindh, Gujarat, Maratha. So they are talking about India as a land. Okay, they are talking about Himalayas, they are talking about the Mahasagara. So that actually reflects India better than what was being reflected by the Vande Mataram. Hence, they have chosen Jan Gan Man over Vande Mataram at that time. Okay, even after that, when we introduced fundamental duties in the 42nd Constitution, at that point of time also, we actually mentioned that it is our duty to respect national anthem and national flag. At that point of time also, it was not mentioned that we need to respect national song. Again, at that point of time also, it was considered that national song is not going to represent the spirit of the whole India. Okay, so we need to show, if we are going to have a unified spirit, if we are going to have a unified patriotic spirit, it is better we give those protection to national anthem and the national flag, and we can actually keep the Vande Mataram or the national song out of it. But now the things are changing. Now what is changing? Now there was an order by the Union Ministry of Home Affairs. They have said that the all 6 stanzas which I have shown you, Vande Mataram, are being played at the official functions with everyone present required to stand in attention, just like the national anthem, and is not. Now the Sanjay Hegde, he is actually senior advocate of India, he is saying that it is not an act of the patriotism, किसी कोई patriotism नहीं आपका दिखाई देगा. The constitutional vandalism dressed up in the national pride, कहते हैं ये तो एक तरह का constitutional vandalism है. It means it is actually breaking so many constitutional right of the people also, but it is just being dressed as a national pride. That's it. It is nothing else. It is just a vendetta behind. There is some vendetta behind it. To understand why, we need to go back to the 1937 to look at what Constitutional Assembly had decided. So there are 2 important assemblies. One was the Congress Working Committee meeting of 1937. Then the second is our Constituent Assembly. 1937 settlement में क्या हुआ था? At that point of time, Rajendra Prasad moved the resolution, which was seconded by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Mahatma Gandhi was also present there, and the resolution that only first 2 stanzas are going to be included, because it is very difficult for our Muslim friends to recite the next 4 stanza, because they particularly mention the Hindu goddesses, right? So they recognize the validity of the objections raised by the Muslim friend to certain parts of the song, and concluded the first 2 stanzas are going to be accepted as a national song at the national gathering, right? And no one actually objected on it, right? This was not cowardice. It means ये हमने ऐसे इसलिए नहीं किया because we were fearful of a particular community. It was done because it was used in a common sense. Why? Because the later stanzas, which is which call out the Hindu goddesses Durga, Lakshmi and Saraswati, okay? One verse तो literally describe ही करती है, त्वं हे दुर्गा 10 प्रहरण धारिणी. What is the meaning of 10 प्रहरण धारिणी? It means Durga who has 10 weapons in her hands. So we are specifically basically talking about a Hindu goddess, right? And we all think in Islam it is forbidden for them to bow down or in front of anyone other than one single god, monotheism. Only they are going to bow down only in front of one particular supreme god. So even the Rabindranath Tagore at that point of time supported this, right? The whole freedom movement from moderate to radical, everyone actually supported this move at that point of time, because they knew that unity is more important than using the 4 stanza in a particular song. It is that simple. After that, now the second event. Let's talk about our Constituent Assembly. At that point of time, President Rajendra Prasad announced Jan Gana Mana is going to be the anthem, and the Vande Mataram is going to be honored equally, but is going only as national song only. और उसमें भी when we have chosen Vande Mataram as a national song, only first 2 stanzas were being used, right? तो पहले 2 stanza है उसी version को हमने as a national song accept किया है. Now the article is also saying that if we are going to have this order as it is, if this order is actually against so many things. Article 15A, जब हमने fundamental duties की बात की, then we have mentioned that we need to abide by national flag and national anthem. At that point of time also, there is no mention of national song. So why these are not accidentals? Why ये सब accidental नहीं था कि fundamental duty जब हमने बोला that at that point of time we did not include national song? It was not accident. It was actually something which is common sense, right? Constitutional frame, it means constitutional जो framework है वो deliberately treat करता है anthem को differently from the national song. We actually, our constitution give more importance to the national anthem as compared to the national song, right? Now they are talking about a particular case. Okay? एक particular case है, ठीक है, Bijoy Emanuel. These were 3 siblings in 1985 in Kerala. ठीक है, 3 siblings हैं, Bijoy, Binu and Bindu. So they actually belong to a particular Christian community that was known as Jehovah's Witness. So these are Jehovah's Witness. They are the one who believe in only one God. That God is known as Jehovah. Or Jesus is actually the son of the God. Okay, sorry, Jesus is actually a representation of God. He himself is not the God. So they don't consider Jesus as some divine entity. They are saying that the God is only one supreme, and they actually don't believe in some orthodox parts of the Christianity. So they actually believe only in one God, and they don't believe in so many rituals also in which the normal Christian people believe. So what actually happened with these school children? So every morning during the assembly, the national anthem was played. Okay? They never sang it. They actually stand peacefully. Okay, they were not disrespecting it, but they were not singing it. So it was being, objected by the schools. Okay, school ने उसको object किया, and school and some other some politician was also involved at that point of time. Then they expelled the students from the school. ठीक है, students को school से expel कर दिया गया. At that point of time, the case went to the Kerala High Court. Kerala High Court said that the expulsion is fine. Okay, it is okay if they have expelled him because they did not sing the national anthem. I am not talking about national song. I am talking about national anthem here. Okay, so national anthem ही उन्होंने नहीं गाया क्योंकि उनको था कि no, we are not going to praise anything except only one particular God. We are not even going to, praise the states of this country. That's it. But the case went to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court said that no, it is not okay. Whatever was the decision taken by the Kerala High Court was first, and the expansion. Now the Supreme Court has mentioned that the expulsion of these students violated their fundamental right of free speech and freedom of religion. Okay, so it violated it. So at that point of time also, the Supreme Court of India, when it comes to the national anthem, even the national anthem is, though it is very protected by the constitution, is not above your fundamental rights. So this is the meaning of this particular case. This particular case का मतलब यही है. If we are going to talk about national song, obviously national songs comes way below your national anthem. Okay? In importance, that's it. That doesn't mean we should not be respecting national song at all. We should be respecting national song, and national song is as equally important as national anthem. But the constitutional provisions we had, they are fabricated in such a way which gives more importance to the national anthem. At that point of time, they intervened in the case of the national anthem also. But now if we can protect the fundamental rights against the singing of the national anthem, then how such order where there are 4 stanzas which are mentioning the goddesses are going to be acceptable in the country? So he is actually pointing out this particular point, right? Now he is saying that what is this really about? They are saying that nobody is questioning whether Vande Mataram deserve respect or not. Obviously Vande Mataram deserve respect, इसमें कोई doubt नहीं है. It is an historical song. Vande Mataram is a song which actually has the soul of our national movement. नेशनल एंथम जो है प्री इंडिपेंडेंस टाइम पे इतना पॉपुलर नहीं है जितना वंदे मातरम पॉपुलर है, राइट? So the real question is simpler. Can the government force citizen to participate in religious observance by calling it patriotic? That basic सब सारा फाइनल हमारा आर्टिकल परकोलेट होके इस क्वेश्चन पे आता है. मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ होम अफेयर्स का जो ऑर्डर है overturns the 1930 settle, right? It ignores what the Constituent Assembly deliberately chose. It disregards the Article 15 also. It violates the principles in the 𝐔𝐲𝐬𝐬𝐷 case also, the case which I have mentioned also. And it does all this through the executive order only. There was no discussion, there was no bill which was there in the parliament, there was no discussion that held over it. It was just a MHA order, and according to that order, from now onwards, you need to stand while the national song is being played, irrespective of your religion, right? Now he is saying that republic belongs equally to all of its. Okay, republic to sabka hai, even if you belong to a particular religion or not. And the obviously constitution does not demand that we all worship the same way. It demands that we all are the equal. है तो पॉलिटिकल राइट हमारे ये नहीं बोलते कि हमारे पास हमारा रिलीजन सेम होना चाहिए. पॉलिटिकल राइट हमें ये बोलते हैं कि हम सब इक्वल हैं. वी ऑल आर इक्वल इन द आई ऑफ लॉ. दिस वाज ऑल. आई हैव गिवन द समरी ऑफ दिस आर्टिकल आल्सो, and even if you are going to go through this summary, the article. All right, so we are going to end the session now. If you have any questions. So if not, then we are going to end the session. So have a very nice day, and end करते थे. अंकित.